How y'all doing? My name's Jim Craker. I want to welcome you to Yggdrasils Shadow. My name isn't important. I think what is important is explaining what it is I do, my perspective on how I view things, and it'll give you a better understanding of what you can expect and if this type of practice is for you. I just want to start out by saying that I am a shamanic practitioner. I'm not going to say I'm a shaman. That's an honor that's bestowed on people from different cultures that have been born and grown up in that culture, and that individual would never say I'm a shaman. It's just unwritten law. So, what is a shamanic practice? So that's what the big question is. A lot of people don't understand it. There's a lot of videos out there that talk about what shamanism is and shamanic practices. There's a big difference in the Western world and what actually is. And I want to start out by saying, from a shamanic point of view, if you're on medication, you don't stop taking your medication. If you're seeking professional help, you don't stop seeing the professional help. But from a shamanic point of view, everything is intertwined. The spirits, your soul, and there's a reason why people get sick. If you look around, there's more depression, anxiety, suicide. There's diseases and sicknesses that people, they can't even say what it is. But from a shamanic point of view, it's very simple. Your soul is born into your body, knowing what it wants to do. And when you start going against your soul's purpose and what fulfills your soul's desire, then it comes out in many different forms. So there's books out, and I refer to them. I can't remember everything, but if there's some physical ailment, there's a reason for it. So as a shaman, you try to get to the bottom of the real reason of why whatever's going on in your life is going on. And it's always generally spiritual, and it's always generally that you're not following your soul's desire. What made me get into this was a couple different things. I've always liked talking religion, spirituality, different points of view. And I was at an event listening to some people, and after listening to this person counsel and talk and do what they did, it didn't take me long to figure out that this individual was projecting his fears, his anxiety, his doubts, his shadows or inner demons, as you would want to call them, on these other people because he didn't want to face them himself. And another reason, I've known people, they'll go into these shops, and a good instance was a lady come into a shop and she said, I want to open up my third eye. And the individual that was running the shop, here, take these crystals, here's a book, give me $180, nice seeing you. You know, that's not how it works. And I'm not going to hide anything, I'm going to tell you how it is. Because it does me no good, does you no good. This magical, mystical, spiritual practices has become a multi-billion-dollar industry, and there's actually people out there searching and wanting to know why. And a little bit about me: when I was born, I was oldest of three sisters. I had three sisters, and that was a different time. We lived way out in the country, and I remember around the age of 3, I always loved spending the time in the woods. And I would come in, and I had a friend, I called him Roger. You know, I made my mom fix him breakfast. He even had, had his favorite meals. But as I grew up, we moved away, and my dad became a preacher, and I was born into the Christian religion. And I wanted Roger, and I was told he was an imaginary friend. Now, I don't know if any of you had them imaginary friends, that was programmed out of me. And that's where the problem is. Over the last 2,000 years or so, what we've become is a product of the programming that's been handed down to us for generations and generations and generations. And you have to ask yourself, what was that programming for? It was nothing more than to control. And I'm offering it's an ancient way, an old way. And if you look into what's the indigenous people, I know that there's a lot of people out there that are political correct. That might not be the political correct term at this time, but that's what I grew up with. But these people that have that unbroken line, they still have their medicine men, their witch doctors, their shamans. They lived with nature, and that was to program us out. And from a shamanic point of view, there's spiritual forces and energies that want to work toward helping humanity, and those that want to harm humanity. And a lot of times they'll masquerade as helpful ideas, helpful religions, but it's actually destroying the very fabric of what humans are supposed to be. So what I want to do is, I just want to imagine, go back 10,000 years ago, in your mind. None of this was around. Humans were, at that time, you were just born one with nature. You'd wake up and you'd hear the crow call, or you'd hear the wolf howl, and you knew what he was saying. If a blue jay would squawk in the woods, hey, there's something coming through the woods. Today we wake up, the alarm clock runs us off, wakes up, we run right out, half asleep, go to work, down the steps, hit the sidewalk, in the car, go to work 8, 10, 12, some people 16 hours, come back, run back in there, never spent more than 15 seconds even breathing fresh air, let alone knowing what's going on around you. And see, that's been programmed out of us. And all this has been going through my mind my whole life. And why? So that's where I guess I started going down the shamanic path. I went out in the woods. I said, okay, what's the right thing? What's the right thing? And the big thing about being in a shamanic practice, you put yourself, your ego, out of the way. Like right now, I'm just sitting here letting the words flow, because the person that was programmed, Jim Craker, he's back. I'm just letting the spirit flow. And that's how the practice is. Everybody has a different, unique personality, different, unique perspective on things. And 10,000 years ago, the shaman or the medicine man, he was part of the community. He was the counselor. He was a peacemaker. He was the healer. But he was also part of the community. He knew the inner workings. So a shamanic practice isn't a one-time, here, take this crystal and put it under your bed and you'll have good dreams. No, because that's what's been programmed into people. And I'll be making some videos a little more later explaining different things. But from my perspective, everything I do use crystals. There is a connection to them, but they're not the main focus of it. The main focus is allowing the spirit, the souls, to just work through you, the guiding spirits. And what happens is, in a shamanic practice, my spirit guide connects with your spirit guide. This is the basics. Tells what needs to be done, what needs to be fixed at that particular time, and we go in and do that. There's what's called lost soul retrieval. Now there's a big split, I'll say, within shamanic practitioners, in that, can you actually lose part of your soul? The soul's here, it came here. Can you actually lose it? I won't get into that debate, but a lot of times this lost soul that you think you're looking for is actually an attachment that you have to something. My grandfather, I used to sit and eat breakfast with him every morning for a while. And he had a bowl, and he ate his toast, and he had a cup of coffee, tea. That's what he did. I had an emotional attachment to that bowl. If that bowl got broke, it would have hurt me very dearly. What I'm trying to say is a lot of things that people think they've lost their soul or they put their energy into, if you give someone a gift and you give it out of love and kindness, and you give it and they just pick it up and throw it in the garbage and say it doesn't mean nothing to me, it feels like part of your soul's gone, but actually it's just that energy. So we have to go back and we have to go in and find out what it was and disconnect that emotional trauma. That's one aspect of looking at it. I use the Elder Futhark runes. I made the runes. I have enchanted them. That'd be the best word for it for right now. Through rituals. So to me, they're a living being. They're a living soul. And if somebody wants a rune reading or that, actually what happens is them soul, that living force, connects with that individual's living force or guide, and then they come out and they tell you what that soul needs to hear. And just like 10,000 years ago, life was brutal, life was hard. They're straightforward. A lot of people say, well, I want to, this popped into my mind. You can get on, I think it's YouTube or somewhere. There's people on there doing pendulum readings for $5. Is Johnny the best? He's the one I got to marry. Yes, there goes $5. Does my mom mad at me? No. That doesn't help you, because from a shamanic point of view, is Johnny the one I need? Well, yes. Why? Because maybe he's going to teach you a lesson that he wasn't the type you need. It's how you look at it and perspective. The runes will tell you what you need to know at that particular moment to help get your soul and body in line. There's many people out there, they have all kinds of different practices. People will go to them. They'll walk out feeling great, and then 2 days later they're back there, my energy's drained, I need more. They don't fix the problem. I try and fix the problem, and it's not easy, and especially in today's society, because like I said, we've been programmed to do things. That's why TVs are called programs. You're programmed. When I was a kid, you got to eat Kellogg's cornflakes, or Lucky Charms, and they even put little toys in the bottom of the box. Well, now we're programmed. You have to buy this cell phone that costs $1,200, or you're not part of the crowd. Well, people go out and buy all this stuff, pay for all this stuff. Now they're working 3 jobs and they're not happy. You got to find out what the root of the problem is, and that's the hard part. We've grown up in a society where people don't want to take responsibility for what they've done. They want to pass a buck, blame it on somebody else, or take a quick pill. And that's why I've known people, they've had 20 pills in their hand because they're so sick. And the problem is their soul wasn't right. Their soul wasn't. They were going against what they wanted to, or they were living in a life that they hated. Rather than do something about it, it's just easier to take a pill and go on about your life. So it's hard because we got to shuck and get rid of 2,000 to 3,000 years of programming. And I'm not perfect. If I was perfect, I'd be a big ball of light. I'd be a guardian angel, or I'd be a helping spirit, but I'm not perfect. And I work at it every day. And that's what I'm trying to pass on. I've been one way lucky. Where I work, I can work 10 hours a day, and I listen to headphones. And I've listened to so many different people on the internet and so many different philosophies, so many different teachings. When I was in the military, I spent time in the military. I went all over the world. I would seek out the spiritual guide, the leaders, wherever. I can tell you stories about that. Always asking why. And that's why. Why? To try and find what's happy. What makes you happy? What's the meaning of life? That's what everybody wants to know. You know, what's the meaning of life? So we're all searching for that, but I found ways that have been helpful to me and other people. I want to talk a little bit. Some of the ways we can do that is it's called a shamanic journey. There's a big thing about shamanic journey. I'm going to take a hit of acid and I'm going to go speak to God. That ain't how it works. Or I'm going to smoke some peyote, talk to God. No, that's not how it works. To understand how shaman would use hallucinogenics in this, you would have to understand the whole culture they were brought up in, the ritual behind it. You would have to really understand it deeply. I do not use any hallucinogenics. I don't even use marijuana. I don't use anything. I've taken people on shamanic journeys. They haven't taken anything, and I won't do anything like that. Taking children on them. They love them. And it tells a lot about the individual. I've listened to a guy, he was a psychologist for years, 30 years, and got into the shamanic practices, and he found out that with one shamanic journey, he can learn more about that person can learn more about them than 6 or 7 months, even a year of counseling. And so he's been incorporating that in his practice, but he's afraid to come out because it's just going against what society says needs to be done. And if you look, this type of practice and belief has been suppressed. Anytime you go back to the Roman times, even up till now, anytime that a conquering nation would take over someplace, the first thing they do would be get rid of that religion, get rid of that belief. Why? Because that belief system was made for small communities, people to get together and understand and be happy. People in control, they don't want you to be happy, they want to tell you how to be happy. So we got all this programming in us that this is what it takes. Again, I don't want to repeat myself, but that's a big thing. And it is a painful thing. Shadow work, that seems to be a big thing. I don't like calling it shadow work, but that's what everyone talks about. All shadow work, basically, in its simplest form, is looking at yourself, finding the faults that caused that problem, and then standing up to them and owning them. Now, there are some shamanic practitioners that can go in there and say, take care of the problem, come back and say, yeah, I made you feel good and this and that. But this is where there's another split. Did you learn anything? You know, if you take a child when they're learning how to pour milk in a bowl of cereal, and they pour it and it makes a mess, well, mommy don't want to clean up the mess, so she pours the milk for the child till he's 5 or 6. Then when he's 5 or 6, he pours the milk. He didn't learn how to do it. I don't believe in that. I believe in helping you find your problem, helping you conquer that problem, because that's the only way you'll learn. And that way of thinking has been programmed out of us. I hate saying that. Everybody goes to the doctor, my knee hurts, okay, take a pill. You know, I got high blood pressure. Well, here, take a pill. No, to fix the high blood pressure, you know, eat right, do some exercise. You won't do that, but we've been programmed to do it quick and do it, you know, fast and rely on other people. I do what you would call chakra aligning, but there are people, like I said, there's practice out there, they'll go clear your chakras And then 3 days later, you're back because they're all out of whack. Well, they're not fixing why you're out of whack. I use what's called igniting the cauldrons. That's kind of a modern term, but that's the way to go with it. It's just like starting a fire, a cleansing fire. When you refine, say, gold or silver, you put it in the fire and you melt it, and that slag comes to the top, and you scrape that off, and then you got pure silver or gold. It's painful when you expose yourself to yourself and have to pull the slag off. It's painful, and a lot of people don't want to admit that. You know, that's the problem. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm going to fix you. I'm going to help you fix yourself. That's the truth of it. And any shaman out there or shamanic practitioner, that's the core of it. Teaching people how to help themselves. It's not a one-time thing. It's a lifelong thing. But you might get some advice. It might take you 3 months to overcome that. You may overcome what you need to overcome in a couple days. And okay, now what do I need to work on? Because that's what this whole practice is about. And I want to be able to teach people how to help themselves so they don't need me, whether you want to believe that or not. But the problem is this type of practice, there's so many misconceptions and misunderstandings that because of what has been programmed over the last years, I listen to all kinds of people. And like I said, some of them, they just passing on the program. Some of them are passing on the quick buck. And if you look at my site, I don't have a price on there because I believe in the old ways. In the Elder Futhark, there's Gibo. It means a gift for a gift. It's the mutual exchange of energy. Mutual and beneficial exchange of energy between two people. In the old days, you'd go visit somebody would bring over a coffee cake, and they would have the tea set there. It was a gift, an exchange. In today's society, we use money. You can't bring, something to me. You use money. That's how we do it. I understand that. But what I'm saying on this, you get out of it what you put into it. And those that I've dealt with, I have different accounts set up, different ways to pay. I don't even see what is put in there. But I can tell you this, there's been individuals that I've walked, you gotta be set up somewhere and they want to do something. And they walk in, they got big old diamond rings, driving a Mercedes, and you can tell they are well-to-do, and they walk in and I want to do this, and we do a reading or something, and the connection's just not there. It's there, but it's not as good as it should be. And come to find out, there's a little thing there. They might have only put $10 or $15 or $20 in the, what I call the gift or offering thing. And I had one individual, he asked me what I did, and I told him. He says, I really want to do this, but I only got $1. Now you could tell he was down on his luck. He was real, didn't take a psychic or anything to understand that. I said, I won't take your last $1, but he said, no, I will. I'm going to give it to you. So he gave me that $1, but that was probably one of the best connections, best readings. It was there because he gave, and that's I honestly believe that. A person will go out and spend $400 on a night on town buying their buddies beer and steak and that, but when it comes to straightening their life out, they don't want to sacrifice. So that's the cosmos. That's that. You give what you get. So my price is, I don't charge, the cosmos does, if that makes any sense. I can do distance healing, distance counseling. In the old days, in the ancient times, You know, that's where shamanic journeying comes in. And what happens is, I'll explain that a little bit. My spirit guide will talk to your spirit guide, or my spirit that I'm working with will talk to you, and whatever you need done, that spirit guide knows what to do and does it, and I just get out of the way and let the spirit work. I've done, like I said, there's nothing to really be afraid of. It's just people need to understand, and it's hard to get out there what it is because of all the misconceptions. I'm just trying to think here. My ego's coming back in. What I want to think, I gotta get out of it. That's what I do. I'm sorry about that. I'm just trying to get out of the way here. But if this sounds like something that's interesting to you, like I said, I was offering free consultations, and it actually takes about 3 hours, believe it or not, because people don't understand really what's going on. Because everybody is uniquely individual. And I just hope this breaks the ice a little bit. I'm just a normal human being. That's what I look at, trying to go through life. I think I've covered just about everything. Because I'm drawing a blank. That means the spirit's done. I'll be making some more videos a little bit more in depth. But I just wanted to break the ice here for both of you and me. I'm kind of old at this. This is the first video I've done. My technology and all this isn't actually that good. I apologize for that. And I'm looking forward to maybe talking to you and getting to know you a little better. Thank you very much.